give you an insight into some of the major stories as reported by the different newspapers. And now it is time for Mainland Focus. Basically, we are going to pick one or two stories from the papers that trended on the front pages and then have a more extensive conversation on this particular story. Well, for today, our main focus for the morning would be the report in the Punch newspaper where EU observers blamed politicians and INEC for vote buying. As you know, the just concluded gubernatorial polls was marred with violence, the inactions of security operatives in the face of voter suppression, vote buying, voter intimidation, voter apathy. Well, that's not really the concern of the security operators, but basically some of the treatment that was meted out to some voters who came out to exercise their franchise. A lot of questions have been asked of the security operatives. Why were you docile in the face of all of the maltreatment that some voters experienced? Well, the United European Union, I beg your pardon, have put forward their report, and in fact, according to the Punch, the European Union observers are blaming politicians and INEC for vote buying. So the questions that we're asking this morning: do you support the EU's position on the issue of vote buying as reported in the last election? Do you really believe that it is INEC and the politicians that are mostly responsible for the vote buying? I mean, we could understand the politicians because logically one would expect that it is these politicians who are trying to garner the favor of the electorates that would offer them something in exchange for their vote. So we're trying to establish the correlation of INEC in all of this. The duty of INEC is to make themselves available, make the election materials available, make sure that the polls are being conducted appropriately, and of course, organize the voting process. That is the function of the electoral umpire. So we're trying to ascertain the correlation, the nexus between INEC and vote buying, as being reported by Punch newspaper, that the EU observers are actually, should I say, indicting INEC in the vote buying that somewhat, happened during the gubernatorial poll. So do you support the position of the European Union? And also, who do we blame for the security lapses and failures in the last election? Like I said, security operatives during the presidential elections, we could tell that they were very, very active. They did the best they can to control the situation. I don't think that we got, really disturbing reports of violence. Violence happened. Please do not take me out of context. There was, reports of violence, but the kind of violence that a lot of people expected during the presidential, I don't think that that is what actually happened. It was abysmally low, but then it would turn out that the same cannot be said for the gubernatorial and State House of Assembly election. We had our correspondent there. They saw these things real life. We could report directly that there were people who were, maltreated. We had an individual who was actually stabbed because he was not supporting the ideology of another voter. So then, who do we blame for the security lapses, the inactions of the security operatives in the face of all the chaos and violence that we saw during the Guber polls? Who do we hold responsible? And again, what are the solutions to these problems? As much as we are highlighting the problems, we do so year after year, electoral cycle after electoral cycle. Every time the pattern is almost the same. What do we do to solve these problems and make sure that we don't have a recurrence the next time we have to go to the polls? And majorly the issue of vote buying and election violence. What is the solution? The police reform? Do we have to look into the operations of our security operatives? And vote buying, is this a call for us to intensify voter education so they understand how powerful they are, and if their votes were as insignificant as they are being told, nobody would offer them money for that particular service? These are the focus for this particular morning. But before we open the phone lines, well, we have gotten Fuhad's perspective whilst he was dissecting the papers, but then let's open today's contribution or take in opinions by hearing what Fuhad has to say about the focus for this morning. Fuhad, you're on.
I think, again, I'll assume that this report is on the March 18th governorship and state assembly election. So if the report basically is on that election, I would say that to a large extent, I think INEC performed very well. I must say, again, I'm making this submission from what I monitored, from what I saw, and from the reports that a lot of our correspondents gave to us across the different states of the country. Again, somehow INEC was able to resolve the issues of logistics. They got to most of the polling units on time. And I think they were ready. We saw that most of the ad hoc staff and polling unit staff of INEC were better their handling of divas, in their handling of the electoral process and all of that. I must also say that somehow I think that we don't find most of the politicians now talking about the failure of INEC to upload results real time. I think a lot of the results, as they were being collated and announced in polling units, were also uploaded immediately. So to a great extent, or to a large extent, I think INEC was able to take it a bit higher, better than what they did at February 18 at the presidential and national assembly elections. But again, we can't say it was 100%, but at least better than what we saw in terms of their failure to upload results from polling units. Now, the issue of widespread violence and voter suppression, again, I will say this, I'll put that straight at the doorstep, at the desk of the security operatives. And if I'm going to say the security operatives, it has to be the person they are answerable to, who gives them orders, who coordinates them, who are the people at the end of affairs who take decisions for security operatives. I think at the end of the day, we have to look at the president to ask him questions about his position of security for Nigerians on election day. It was a complete failure. Most of the security operatives looked helpless. They looked lost. They looked overwhelmed. They stood aloof as people were manhandled, roughened, and intimidated on election day. And it was a sad situation to see. Even as a journalist, I think we shall pray. We were victims. I think it's true. One of our correspondents was harassed, attacked. His phone was collected because they saw him video what was happening. So it was a complete failure, a sad situation for the country. And again, I'll say this, we need to sit down, raise conversations on how to have better elections going forward. We can't have all of these things achieve itself every 4 years.
Right. Well, thank you very much, Fuhad, for your analysis on the matter. We're throwing the phone lines open right now. The number to dial 0913-6000-410. If you want to send WhatsApp messages or text messages, you can do so via the number 0913-6000-430. Please be informed that we are streaming live. So go to our Facebook, go to our YouTube page, Mainland 98.3, Mainland FM 98.3, Facebook, YouTube, Mainland 98.3. Go there, we're streaming live, and also take advantage of the chat option as provided on those platforms to drop your contributions. As always, keep it clean. You are on radio. You are not, nobody's stopping you from airing your opinion, but please, for the sake of the fact that you're speaking on a public platform, I would implore you, in fact, plead with you to make sure that you scrutinize your words before you air them on a radio. As you know, failure to do so would immediately cause me to discontinue that particular conversation. Thank you for your understanding. Let's take our first call for this morning. Hello, good morning to you. Hello? Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Morning to you.
Yes. This is Jufoma from my brother. There is nothing to add to what the European Union has said. They have seen everything. Even though before the British Prime Minister left Nigeria, is it last week or 2 weeks, he also laments over the election we have this year. Truly, there is nothing to write about it. Number one, INEC disappoints 100%. Number two, the politician, is only God that will forgive them. But I pray that we will get it right one day, because the country cannot continue like this for eternity. That is my take this morning.
Well, thank you very much for your contribution. Let's take another a phone call. Hello, good morning to you. Hello. Okay, please try to make it back if you can. 0913-6000-3352. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Morning to you.
Yeah, this is Mr. Sunday calling from Ikeja.
Thank you for joining us.
Okay, my contribution this morning. Believe on what the UN say, the international body. I believe on what they say. Because those people, they have already seen. They have seen the system of our politics. They have seen everything, and they speak the truth. And when you see that the white man is different from the black man. The white man, when you see black or white, you say this color is this color. But the black man will have to change the color. So I believe, and I'm not so disappointed Mr. Fuhad. I used to comment
Let's focus. Let's focus. We are not. Mr. Fuhad is not the focus of this morning. The focus of this morning is the position of the European Union and their statements that politicians and INEC are mainly responsible for vote buying. That is the focus. And please stay on track. I appreciate that. Thank you, sir. Please go on.
Yes, exactly. So I believe on what the UN says. They were a vote buy. They did a lot of things. They malfunction the visa. They do all the lobbying. So the people they are still and you still. But for Mr. Fuhad, you should see the through. You should stop. You should.
Thank you very much for your opinion. Hello, good morning to you.
Hello, good morning.
Morning.
Yeah, good morning, Madam Saheed and Fuhad.
Good morning to you.
Yeah, this is Barrister Peter Oku. I'm calling from the Mainland.
Welcome.
Yes, my contribution this morning is on the issue that we are focusing on the election, outcome of the election. See, the problem we have, which we must address very, very seriously, is that our democratic institutions are very weak. In fact, we are not prepared for democracy. Because democracy is not practiced by rule of the thumb. There is templates for democracy. If you check other countries around the world that are practicing democracy, there is a template. But here, we are practicing democracy. We don't even have a single template. It's more, if you check this administration, the past 8 years, there's no democracy there. All we have been practicing under this administration is...
No, we're a democratic nation. We've been for about 24 years now. All right. Again, I implore you to please filter your comments before you air them on radio. Please, I implore you to do so. Hello.
I beg to disagree with you. I'm sorry.
We are a democratic nation. All right, we are. And we've been for a very long time.
We can assume, but we are not practicing it like it is supposed to be practiced. You know, look at INEC. How do you separate the federal government, the current federal government from the INEC? The INEC is tied to the April.
All right, that's enough. That's enough. Thank you. It's called the Independent National Electoral Commission. The independent is the first word in the acronym. So please, okay, let's just move forward and take contributions. Hello, good morning to you.
Not independent. I'm sorry.
Hello, good morning to you. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Morning to you.
I'm Mr. I'm calling from Ejigbo.
It's very difficult to hear you. Do you mind speaking directly into your phone?
I said, I'm Mr. I'm calling from Ejigbo.
All right. Yes, I'm with you.
Yes, I want to say on this decision this morning that the INEC disappointed Nigeria.
INEC is what?
They disappointed Nigeria very well.
Okay.
Even the politicians disappointed Nigeria very well. Because what the European Union was saying this morning, they are very right for a winner, stuff like that, and Nigeria will take it. So, and they should not keep it away. Anybody that statement
Fuhad has joined us now in the studio. Good morning. Got there on time. They did their job, and the link between
that's the candidates and the politicians, and also the electorate. And again, it's easy for us to sit back and complain about all of the March 18, where and that was what the politicians highlighted. That was what Mr. Peter Obi highlighted. That was what Atiku highlighted, and of course the Labour Party and the PDP. That look, in all of the things that INEC time was the issue. He didn't even talk about the conduct of the elections. Basically, it was just about the fact that everybody is saying, "Oh, INEC did not do anything." Again, we need to look at it holistically. You look at it.
To taking our phone calls, we'll take a few more phone calls and then we'll check for WhatsApp messages. 09.
You know where I will say INEC at the state. I told them that there's this whole saga. What is England that went out of all? You come out, you threaten them, you give them up, then you say Nigeria name for democracy. Unfortunately, their appetite.
Nice to have you. Go ahead.
Yeah. My impression has to be clear of them. Contesting election, that the same wanted to be developed. So there's the election, African Union, then the Commonwealth. They don't win in Ogun, they don't win in
You. Good morning. Thank you for the land like that of a graveyard. There's a saying that when the right destroyed public education, scam. It's a national shame and disgrace. So that, yeah, I saw it, but for us to go forward and get it right. Thank you very much. In there for our focus, aside from the fact that we've also asked you in there to come up with constructive ways to maybe not completely eradicate vote buying, voters inducement, and thuggery that accompanies our for the Cuba and State House of Assembly. Thank you. And thank you. So we never take responsibility for the role that we the electorates are selling, and I know that from somebody who doesn't exactly have the luxury of calls. Hello, good morning to you. We have a plethora of messages on here, but I want to balance things and take. I think there's actually a little problem with the phone lines. The calls are dropping. I don't know why that's happening.
So good morning.
Good morning to you.
How are you doing?
Very well, thank you.
I like you. That's the new station. Somebody write a check that when the people because we are results, Lagos, we pay our tax here. So we need to accommodate to confirm it and even better state. So we should just say.
Hello, good morning, Kangbelina.
I'm calling from Mafoloco.
You said AU, not for the land.
Again, that's what happened to us. This thing, like, again, and they declare results. What Peter Moon said is, am I a slave? I don't, you should not even praise them for that. When you do a bad thing, if were there, they didn't do anything. That you just allocate the seat to people who they want.
That's what it's an elective position, rather. It's not an appointed position. Thank you very much, Kangelina, for Tony.
The last election, because I believe it's not about winning the election. It's about recovering what you give them after the election. Because some of these talks where people will go back to the streets and keep, tormenting people playfully. I believe is Shokola. I think it should be taken seriously so that these things will go in, because this thing is getting people that choice. They just want to collect that thing and just.
I'm not trying to start to the law. Maybe it would help minimize violence, but I know of many provisions that did intimidate voters. At least there's some that we can directly point out with evidence.
Constitution and our laws to take care of this thing. A particular ethnic group, and nothing happened.
They said he was joking.
The commander-in-chief, he issues these orders is to ensure Nigerians are safe on election day. We didn't see that. A lot of written all over their body. They saw thugs come to attack them, pull out beavers from their hands.
Good job, Ethan.
Thank you.
You see, for the solution to all these things, Lagos has always been the most accommodating state in this country. Lagos has always been very accommodating, but there's always a time when you have a say. Commissioner, so people should respect their host. Good morning. People should respect their host. Good morning.
Okay, I didn't get that last part, but thank you very much. Hello.
Thank you, Babalola.
Good morning to you.
Mr. Fuhad, good morning to you.
Good morning, Prince Wise.
Thank you, my dear. You see, what the close observer said is the truth, but not but the truth. But what I know very well, nobody blame the INEC. In my only booth, we have only 3 INEC officers here. 3. If you have for like a 10 talk, target INEC to send them, and the way I posted, no policeman there, no any security man there. So what do you say? Only our area was so quickly voted and get back to. But the majority of politicians went back to for this, they want to win an election. So our security, they are the one. For me, I prefer military to take charge when I taking place. Now, even though the draft police to all three police booths, the police that went to police booth, even though no battle, no gun, nothing. Can you believe? Theory, area boy, area thought can dislodge any policeman. So for me, we, the one that's voting, even some of us now, as it is, the winner will be happy with what is happening now. So you can't say this election is by the INEC. No, INEC want to do their job. For the people, not the people themselves.
They want to win by all costs. So for me, what we need in this country today is attitudinal change. Because corruption, they've got all the problem we have faced in this country today. The moment we do away with corruption, everything gets better.
Thank you,
Fuhad, to you.
Good morning, please. Right.
Good morning. Thank you very much. Let's go to our messages now. On the Facebook platform, we do have, until we put aside our greed, selfishness, tribal and religious bigotry, we cannot make progress. Mubasar K. Adibari is the author of that message. So let's go to WhatsApp now. Awolo Christopher from Shogunle says the EU's observation is correct. The election lacked credibility. What was responsibility on the ground for the agencies, particularly the police, cannot perform? Few, however, proper restructuring of the politics. Christopher, for your message. Let's see other ones here. This is a lot. Duty of security operatives to. It is the duty of the security of both security operatives and INEC from performing their civic responsibilities. INEC tried their best, but our politicians are the game changer here. Accountability and give proper account after elections. Even INEC, it's because there's no one who should be scrutinized. All the public sectors as well. I will conclude by saying, okay, Joshua, thank politician. It's like ask how politicians and government agencies have portrayed our country on the international platform. Personally experienced an attack at polling unit 44 in Elaston. We should confirm that. These country politicians and others go back to taking phone calls now so I can catch my breath. Don Peters, the connection is...
Okay, they are saying to unreach a set of people. 1978. When he was being inaugurated as the Lagos man from the east or from the west or from is a not knowing the Latif Chakonte speech, 1978. That is my assignment to them.
Elections. I talked about it. I talked about keeping our eyes on the ball. It happened. Sadly, so 4 years ago, you promised the Russians. Did you do it? You know, rural infrastructure, and unfortunate, really.
No sense of logical reasoning. That we, the electorates, also have to take responsibilities. What is a business together? Your neighbor.
Do their thing. The Igbo politician will sit with the Yoruba politician. Nobody, your brothers, be getting happy together.
Let's take more contributions.
I don't know where you're living. You know everything in your paper. Don't know that you can undo them. You don't know what you want to do. What the election that we call intimidating at and we live peacefully with them.
Thank you. Hello.
Hello, good evening. I want to hammer on one point. We did not really. How do you explain a situation where really the Yoruba from the north again now, it went to, I'm telling you the truth. But the issue there is approaching and to address this issue. This is four states. They did nobody. They will strategize.
Thank you. You have left to read WhatsApp messages, and please stop calling. They will not be able to mastermind susceptible people to orchestrate problems. If we don't tackle illiteracy and poverty, the problem will persist. Thank you very much. You highlighted the problem.
The solution
and highlighted the solution
to those two problems still lies in the hands of the politicians.
Yeah, they have to make policies that would create an environment for education,
and then, of course, empowerment of the people to move away from poverty.
Let's
and have weaponize it. It's their own tool too.
I mean, moving forward, government of this administration really taught Nigerians a lesson that they will not forget in a hurry by bringing back what people thought was a bygone, having been the highest beneficiary of free and fair elections, where the incumbent President Jonathan, who lost to him, quickly congratulated him before the final result. Now, Nigeria Chika Bende from Treadfair Lagos then cancelled the election for integrity's sake. But what is the problem that we cannot do it? If you ask me, I think prison awaits you no matter how much. I'll just take one more and we call it a wrap for this. Conclude with. Thank you. I apologize. Hopefully, in other shows.